Welcome to the second video presentation of the new version of alpha360 ERP. My name is Steven Sitas and I head the development of the alpha360 project. In this video, we will see the functionality, the user interface, and what is new in version 3.3. Note you will need WinDev 26 for the Windows ERP, WebDev 27 for the Web ERP, and WinDev Mobile version 27 for the mobile applications. So let's go. The new Windows ERP comes with 3 different user interfaces. You can change them or switch between them in the functionality combo box. This is the ERP, that is the complete user interface of the WinDev ERP. The sales, that is a model user interface that has only sales functionality. And then there is the retails configuration that has a simple and elegant POS. Now, let's go on with the WinDev ERP user interface. As you probably already know, the main menu is at the top of the window. From here, you can select one of the ERP's modules, say Inventory, and on the left sidebar, you see various links for the module's functionality. We have the Office module, the CRM module, the Inventory module, the Sales and Revenues module, Purchases and Expenses, Accounting, and of course the System module from where you can set up your installation. eSign is only specific to some European markets, so we are not going to talk about it in this video series. Now first, we select Inventory, and from the left sidebar, we can select Goods and Services. From here, you can see a list of all your goods and services. You can search for records, you can add them, view them, delete them, and print the records. You can also use all of WinDev's standard functionality for the tables, like filtering, exporting, etc. Clicking on the left top image, the circle with the 3 dots, and going back to Goods and Services catalog, you will see that the user interface has changed, so your users can have more workspace on their desktop. From this table, you can click the green plus button to add a new product or service. A new empty form opens to fill the products or service fields, and some fields are automatically populated, and this auto-population is controlled by entries in the System module. We have prices, we have grouping information, we have special metrics, we have quantities, we have fields that work in the sales area, notes, a log file, and a help area where you can add your various help strings. When you are done, you can click the Save button from here or the Cancel button if you don't want to go on and save. When doing any saves, local validation procedures take care of any missing or invalid data, And if everything is okay, it then sends the record to a business process that does the actual saving to the database. All BP procedures that affect the ERP's database are always inside a transaction, even if the BP procedure affects only one table. Now, as you probably know, the above user interface metaphor is called a browse form user interface. In alpha360, every browse and every form across all three products, the Windows, the web, and the mobile, have the same local user interface procedure, making it very easy to duplicate and validate the above functionality. Now let's take a closer look of the Windows ERP from inside the WinDev ID. On the left, select Main menu. This is the main window of the WinDev ERP. Inside this window is a dynamic tab where all windows, either browsers or forms or something more simple, are embedded when they are called. Everything is handled automatically by the user interface, from embedding to closing a window embedded in the UI. Now let's take a closer look at browsers and forms. Here on the left, we can select the IWB customers. This is a browse, and it actually has customers, and this is another browse that has the products, services, or items. If you see inspect the procedures in both the browsers, you will see that they are the same. Both of them have an add, have a close, have a delete, have an edit, have a format, have a print, have a refresh request, and a view. The same thing is true for the forms that are called by browsers. Let's see, this is a form for a customer, and this is a form for the product. If we take a closer look at the form of the party, we will see that the party and the product have the same procedures. Please note that all browsers and all forms and generally all windows that are going to be embedded inside this dynamic tab are actually internal windows. So how do we call a form from a browse? Let's see an example with the products browse. Open the IW products procedures, go into add, and here you will see that we create a variable of type STA360 dynamic window. What is this procedure? Sorry, what is this dynamic variable? We can go in the project code and see that is actually a structure. Instead of sending simple integers or strings to a form, we send it a dynamic window that has many variables. Like say we are calling it with an action, one means insert. This is the name of the internal product, and this is the name of the window it will return after IWF product closes. And then we can call the window with A360 open window and the name of the structure. So what really happens when we call the window with the alpha360 open window procedure? Let's take a closer look. We are calling the internal window IWF product. We go to the code and we can see that there are two initialization procedures. One is UI format that takes care of any formatting of strings, currency, dates, etc. And the other one is UI unit. Let's take a closer look at UI unit. UI unit, depending on the action variable that is passed, sets up either an add, or retrieves a record so it can be edited, viewed, or deleted. After UI init is called at the end of UI unit, the form opens and the user is free to do any editing he wants. When he is ready, he can either cancel his edits or he can save them. Let's see what is underneath the save button. It is a user interface procedure called UI save. What does UI save do? It cleans up any data, it checks required fields, it moves data from the screen to the source, and we will talk about this in a little while, and depending on the action variable, it calls a BP that adds a new product, modifies the product, or it deletes the product. There is no code in IWF product that affects data in the database. Everything is done with business procedures that are shared between all three alpha360 implementations. Now, here are a few important things about the product forms, the IWF product form, and it is the same for every form, internal form of the WinDev ERP implementation. First, let's take a look at the code area. All fields inside the IWF product form are actually records, are a type of records. You can see them if you go into the embed description, into the binding area. You can see that all fields are binded to record types. They are not directly binded to record buffers. So When, say, we retrieve a record, we always use source to screen. We assign to record types the actual record buffer. It's done here. We also keep a copy so we can see if something has actually been changed at the end. We move everything from the source to the screen fields. We do a refresh and we assign the first field or button. So everything in here is done in record variables. That's why whenever a field has been modified, we used screen to source to assign the screen value to the source value. That's because a user can move freely between fields of different windows or forms. In that way, with these movements, he may lose some of his editing. So we use screen to source just to save the editing a user does after modifying a field. When we do the save, don't forget to move everything from the screen back to the source, because what we are actually sending to business processors are actually a record type, and not, of course, any data buffers, etc. Something that is also very important is the independent HFSQL context. If you don't check it, sometimes you will have problems in some versions of WinDev, you will have problems with transactions. So it's a good practice to always turn it on. The only window that should never have this turned on is the first window, where the independent HFSQL context must be always off. You can understand better the user interface and the way we work with the WinDev ERP by seeing the documentation that is at GitHub and, of course, studying the code from the open source projects. Now, as we said at the beginning, the WinDev ERP has actually 3 internal configurations. What we saw was the full ERP implementation, and now let's see the sales, the simple module implementation. This is here for your customers that prefer a simple interface that most of the time is in the sales area. We see that we have new sales documents here. We move to the main menu back, just like in a web interface. We have the customers. We have the goods and services. And the list of orders, etc. A place where somebody can quickly add some notes and generally what anybody would need in a simple sales application. Note that although this is a different user interface from the one we just saw, both of them work on the same database. Now, how is this implemented? Instead of using dynamic tabs, this is implemented by simple planes. This interface shares a lot of common things with the web dev implementation, which we will see in a little while. Now let's close this configuration. And you can see that the application doesn't close. It lets us change, among other things, the RDBMS and of course the functionality. So let's go to the retail functionality. And we see that we have in front of us a simple POS, a retail POS. We can select categories. And everything you would do on a POS retail system. Of course, it's up to you to beautify this POS retail and make it more close to your needs. Now, before moving on to and showing the WinDev mobile sales app, let's take a quick look at the web dev implementation. Note that this has many things common with the WinDev sales app, the model WinDev sales configuration. But just note that there is nothing to stop you from making a full ERP implementation with web dev. All the business processes, all the data fields in the analysis are included inside the web dev application. You just have to make the user interface. So we here have the calendar. We get back to the main menu. To the CRM, we have the customers. Okay, let's see the form of the customer. We have the name, the registered VAT. We can change tabs over here. It's just a different Windows interface than the one in the WinDev ERP, but it has the same information. You save it, you use exactly the same UIs and BPs. You can, of course, cancel it. You can go to invoices. You can go to, let's say that we have this month the invoices. Here is the invoice. You can print an invoice. Just note that the forms for the invoices, the shipments, etc., are shared between all implementations. So if you prefer or your customers want web dev implementation, it is very easy to work with them and to copy everything from the full WinDev ERP. Now here is a small introduction to the new WinDev Mobile alpha360 configuration. This is designed as a sales app only for Android and iOS smartphones and tablets, and can work as a client for the full ERP or as an autonomous sales application, just like the WebDev application. This autonomous app can communicate with other autonomous ERP installation through the new Replicate API. More on the Replicate API in a next video. Now here is the login window of the alpha360N project. You can see that we are showing it on PCSoft emulation. We can select the type of installation from here. We can use a local installation, or we can use the project in a client-server mode. And of course, if we are going to use it in a local mode, we can use a storage card if it is available. Here is the main menu of the mobile application. All these buttons show the alpha360N mobiles modules. Let's take a quick look at customers. This is a customer list. We can search for it. Search for a customer. We can add a new customer. We can view a customer. We can delete a customer and print customer transactions. View shows us all the parties fields, and they are exactly the same with the window ERP. Let's get out of this now. And with a double click, it's just a shortcut for modifying. And from here, we can modify the party. The name or description, the registered VAT ID, and just like the WinDev and the WebDev implementation, this actually has tabs. There is a quick way to go through all the tabs of the party with the button up here. This moves us quickly and in a serial mode between all the parties tabs. Of course, you can use the slide bar menu and you can go quickly to a tab. From here you can save it, and we are back at the customers area. Let's take a look at the goods and services. It's the same design as the customers. Everything is here. We can view a product, or we can modify a product. As before, we can move quickly between the tabs. Here are the dimension categories. And everything is controlled for dimension in the parameters area. If this is a client-server installation, by design, we cannot add parameters. Everything must be done through the WinDev ERP, just like the WebDev ERP. Of course, if you don't like it, you can change it, and you can allow a mobile user to add the parameters. Since this is an autonomous installation, we can see the parameters. We can add, if we want, new categories. And generally, we can change everything in the dimension area. The setup, as its name implies, is the basic area where we give information about the company's address, report headers, logo, etc. What is very important and new is Replicate 360. Here we tell the system that this installation is part of a bigger installation from which he gets dimensions and sends data. We can do the replication from this area here. We will see it in a later video. And now let's see how easy it is to add a new sales to the mobile app. Let's go to new sales. We first select the customer, and then from the slide menu, we select to create a new sales invoice. We can select from here the series. This is the date, the sales terms, the money account, the customer branch, the warehouse. And just like the customer and the product forms, we can quickly move between tabs with this button here. Now, we are in the goods and services area. Let's select this product, and then select this product. So we have added two products inside our invoice, and say we want to change this one from 1. We double click it. We give a quantity of 34. We can change the sales price. We can change the description. And we're back to the main area of the sales. We can save it. And everything has been completed. Where is our sales? Let's go back to the main menu. Sorry. All sales documents are entered from this area here. When we enter an invoice, invoices are in a list of invoices here. Shipments are here, orders are here, and the list of payments is here. Let's go to the list of invoices and see what happened when we added the new sales. We see that we have a list of sales documents. These are the ones we can search for them. We can see all documents for this year. So we have added 3 invoice documents. From here, we can view the document, we can edit it, we can delete it, we can sign it, we can send it to somebody with an email, or we can print it. Let's try printing it. Now, if you see, this is one of the forms that already exist in the WebDev and WinDev implementation. They have been just copied and are used in the mobile implementation. Of course, we have some smaller and simpler forms in the mobile app, and we also support printing on mobile Bluetooth printers. How do we set these up? Very easy. Let's go back to the main menu. Let's go to the parameters. Let's go to the printers area and just let's search for Bluetooth printers. Now here they are. This is a Big Solon Bluetooth printer, and this is not a printer, this is another mobile phone. Now, as you have seen in this short introduction, we have tried to make everything very simple so that it can work on a mobile phone or on a tablet. Although this is a very simple interface, all sales functionality that is part of the WinDev and the Windows ERP are also here. And as we said before, there is nothing stopping you from creating a full ERP for the mobile apps. Remember, these are just applications for programmers. You can change them, you can extend them, you can do whatever you want 10 times faster. And before ending this short introduction, let's see how we did a simple sales dashboard. We didn't use complicated things. We tried to compact everything so you can see in one window what you actually see in a WinDev ERP or the WebDev ERP. From here, you can compare your sales. You see the sales distribution. You compare gross profits. You see the number of customers, the new customers this year. If you take a look closer to this dashboard, you will see that it is the same information that is available in the Windows and the WebDev ERP. The new WinDev and WebDev apps have already been posted on our website, and the mobile project will be available later this month for an introductory price of €299. Thanks for watching.